acknowledges that my car is dirty. But let's get straight to the video. First thing you should really know about your IS is this is common with any IS, not just the Sportcross. But an issue I had with mine when I got it was I had the check engine light code, and these cars are prone to have an O2 sensor that goes bad. So most of the times, it's one of the 4 O2 sensors. The one for me was the front O2 sensors that went back. The ones that went bad were the front O2 sensors, and I'll show you where they are. O2 sensor that goes bad is there, and there's one in the back behind there, and then there's another one back there, and then another one right close to it. So what I did was I replaced all 4. For me, the one that went bad is the one that's right under here. There's an O2 sensor you can see right there. That's the one that went bad. So I had to replace that, and that's the biggest issue that these IS300s are prone to. For me, I paid $180 for all 4 of my O2 sensors, and I got them replaced for $170, including the labor, which was $350 total. I think that was a good price for all 4 of them to get them replaced, but you could replace them yourself. I don't really know how to replace it myself. Well, it's not that hard, but there are a couple videos on it. But I paid $350. I think that was pretty decent. Next issue these cars have is this valve cover leak, which happens in this area where oil starts leaking. And to fix that, you have to replace the valve gaskets, and that costs about $500 to $600 depending on your mechanic. And you can get that fixed, which this usually happens when the car hits 180,000 miles, and you also have to do the timing belt at that period as well. This is only for the Sportcross, which is that the rear wheels are actually wider than the front wheels. So on the sedan it has 17 by 17s in the front and the back, but in the Sportcross it has 17 by 7s in the front, and in the back it has 17 by 7s. Or 17 by 7.5s. But the issue with this is that you will need a 225 width in the rear for the tire, 225 45 17s, and in the front you will need 215 45 17. Another difference with the Sportcross is that the rear bumper and the front bumper is actually different to the sedan. So if you do want to replace it, you would have to find the front bumper from the Sportcross instead of the sedan. Though the sedan bumpers will fit on the Sportcross, but the rear bumpers won't fit on the Sportcross, or from the sedan to the Sportcross. So you won't be able to get a sedan bumper and replace it with the Sportcross. One thing I actually didn't even really know about was that the Sportcross had this, which can hide stuff that you have in your car. So let's say you have some stuff in here and you want to hide it, so you can do that. Another thing I didn't really know about the Sportcross was it actually has folding seats. And not just in the rear, it has folding seats in the front. So the way they work is you lift on this, and then it just goes down like that, and you can put anything you want. You can put it, like, let's say like you want to eat something and you're parked, just put this down. And that's what I like about this car, is that it's actually very practical. Like, that's what Lexus really made it for. They wanted to make a practical wagon, but also at the same time it's like a sports wagon. So this is one thing I do like about this car that it has, that the sedan actually does not have. And then it also has these seats that also fold down. And this seat folds down just like this. It folds down just like that. And then you can have, anything you want. You want a bicycle, you can put it here, fold these seats down. That's the practicality of a Sportcross. And then you have to lift on this, and then you lift it up. Another thing about the Sportcross is that it is actually 0.4 inches longer than the sedan. So the exhaust, you'll probably have a hard time trying to find an exhaust that could fit exactly the way this one does. I do believe that this exhaust is for the Sportcross only, not the sedan. And there's also, maybe it could be from the sedan. It probably is, but you can see how it sticks in from the bumper and it doesn't stick out. So that's because of the Sportcross has, it's longer than the sedan. One thing I didn't actually even know was these inner circle lights that the Sportcross has. The IS300 and the GS300 both have these, but the sedan version of the IS300 has different lights. So they're actually a little bit more flatter. These stick out a lot more on the Sportcross. On the sedan, they stick in. They're not like shaved off like this is. It's just like a circle, and this is like shaved in. It's straight. So you won't be able to cross-fit a light from the Sportcross or from the sedan IS300. You would actually have to get the one from the Sportcross, which is very hard to find. And what I did was mine were actually faded out, and I just polished it with $10 polish from AutoZone. Also, another thing about the Sportcross is that it does not come with a manual. It only came with the 5-speed automatic that is shiftable. And the other thing is that some models had LSD limited slip differential, and mine actually does have that. And that feature I think is very useful. The reason why I say that is because of slippage. So if you're stuck in snow or ice or in sand or anything, it would be easier with the LSD to get out, and also you can do drifts and burnouts, which is why I think people would rather, you know, get an LSD. And I'm glad that my car had an LSD. It's actually much better to drive. I've driven one with an open diff, and I think LSD is the way to go. I would prefer an LSD over the open slip any day. Like, if you do get an open slip, I would recommend swapping it with a LSD, which you can get for like $500-600. And then the other thing is, this is the shift. So it has this manual mode here, where you can put it down into manual from here, into this M. And then when you do that, it goes into 5th gear. And you can go down, and then on the back, there's this upshift right here, which I think is pretty cool. It's way much better than having just, you know, drive and that's it. And now you can just shift gears. It's not like a paddle shift, but I guess you can call it a button shift. But I think it's better than nothing, so here's one issue. These cars have this headlight thing, which it doesn't adjust. So this is the main issue that I had with this IS. So what I did to solve this issue, let me get this key. Anyways, what I did to solve this issue was, when I replaced these lights, I bought brand new lights for this car. And what I did to replace them was, there's a plug in the back. It's pretty easy, you can see it. It's a great plug. All I did was I just removed it. And what you want to do is you're going to turn on your car, and then the headlights will level up and down, and they level up and then they go down. And you want it to be in the lowest position, and you just turn the car off quickly so that the headlights level downwards, and then you just remove that plug. And this is one main issue these cars have. Even if you don't replace the headlights, you'll probably have that issue anyways as they get old. And this system really doesn't even help at all. It just goes up a little bit, and it will blind other people, so you would rather want to have it lower than what it is. But yeah. One last thing I wanted to mention was the Sportcross actually only came with these wheels. And so the issue with these wheels is after they get old, they do get corrosion. And you can see my paint is chipping off, and I wish I knew that before I actually bought this thing. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for, is that you will most likely need to get these repainted or get new wheels. And especially the 17 by 7.5s in the back are really, really hard to find. And if you do find them, they're going to be really expensive. But anyways, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. In the comments down below, let me know what I should make more videos on with my car next. I do plan on modifying this car with some, you know, in the future I do plan on doing a turbo and a manual swap, but for now, I'll be looking at getting new wheels and coilovers. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys.